Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ellis Nordhoff, and today I'm back with the extra time for West Ham nil, Everton 1 at the London Stadium. We've got the victory. We've won in London again. Have we broke our hoodoo in London now? Can we just beat anyone there? Beat Brentford, beat West Ham. Maybe that curse is gone. I hope it is for all the travelling Blues who go to London. I've been plenty of times in the last year, and sadly, we don't tend to win when we go to London, but we did this weekend, thankfully, and a good performance again. It really was a gutsy, hard-working performance. And we dug in when we needed to, and we had one moment of absolute brilliance from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But let's bring it right back to the team. The team was probably what most people expected, I'd say. Nathan Patterson did come in for Ashley Young, who was suspended in the derby, and I think the team deserved to remain the same, other than the obviously enforced change with Ashley Young having to go out. I think they put in a real shift at Anfield, and obviously we lost because of a dubious refereeing decision, but really the performance was absolutely fine. And they deserve to go and play against West Ham. And the team is starting to look a lot more settled now. To see James Tarkowski and Jared Branthwaite, that seems to be the new centre back pairing that's going to stay for a while. Obviously, Amadou Onana and James Garner in midfield. You're starting to see a bit more consistency with the lineup, which is great for the team because, of course, when players play together, they form partnerships, and then that's exactly what you want, isn't it? But yeah, going into that game, I think a lot of Blues had hope, but I don't think we were massively confident. Of course, West Ham have got a great team on paper. Their midfield is just fantastic, really. You look at James Ward-Prowse, Lucas Paqueta, Mohamed Kudus, who we know all about as well. And I was speaking to a West Ham fan on the opposition view before the game, and he said that they needed to win, and it was the game that decided for them whether they're really in a bad spot or whether they just lost against teams that are better than them. And in the end, they lost against us, who were absolutely better than them. And I think one of the things he was worried about was how can West Ham play when they have to have the ball and other teams give it up to them? And they couldn't find an answer in the end. And Everton had the answers. And the first half was not a good game. It really was not a good game, was it? And I think it was exactly what we wanted. The fact that there wasn't many chances, the fact that we restricted them to very little. I think that's what you want on the road. You want to stay in the game and not really give much up, because when home teams have moments and the pressure builds, that's exactly the time where you're worried about crumbling. And the lads didn't. The first half was far from an entertaining affair, but we went into it 0-0 at half time. And the only really memorable moment from that first half was a little scuffle when James Tarkowski threw an absolute cruncher in on Mohamed Kudus, and then Jordan Pickford thought he'd tell Kudus to get up, and Kudus was not impressed with that. Started a bit of a fight, and I think that kind of livened the game up a bit. That was probably what triggered a bit of the excitement in the game. It was a drab game to start with, and it wasn't an incredible game overall, really, but that did kind of incite the fans a bit in the game. But the London Stadium was quiet on the whole. That stadium, it's so far away from the pitch that how can you really generate a good atmosphere? But we got into the half at 0-0. Pretty pleased with that, really. I felt like we could have done a bit better on the attack. Jack Harrison had that early chance where he just had to give it to Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Abdoulaye Doucouré, and ended up firing a P-roller into the keeper's hands. But I felt like at half-time, people were talking about the wingers. They weren't really in the game. I was thinking perhaps bring Arnaut Danjuma on, but he didn't bring him on in the end, and it kind of paid off not to. I think keeping McNeil and Harrison, it just kept that discipline and that hard work defensively. And I thought we started the second half okay. We were staying in the game. This was the key thing. I was worried about set pieces. If, we can be staying in the game all we like, and then James Ward-Prowse can pop up with a free kick or a corner, and then suddenly you're 1-0 down. We know what he's like. He's one of the best we've seen at set pieces, really. And I thought we were okay in the second half. This game as a whole, this performance, it wasn't vintage Everton by no means, but it was just exactly what you want from an away performance when you've not got much of the ball and you just want to sit in and get one. And thankfully, a stroke of absolute brilliance from Dominic Calvert-Lewin is where we got that goal. And wow, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not known for making his own chances. He's known for being in the box, taking his chances and winning headers. That kind of striker, not a striker really that creates a lot for himself, but he did. He did here, absolutely. And it all started with Jared Branthwaite. Got the ball, was brave with it, carried it forward a little bit, knocked it to Jack Harrison, who then did some really good work, gave it to Calvert-Lewin, who one touch out of his feet, fired it into the bottom left corner, and the away end just went into raptures at that point. 1-0 up at the London Stadium. And we know how important the first goal is. The first goal is absolutely crucial to Everton. Getting that, and we tend not to lose after that. So that to go in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. He has been on fire recently and he deserves every bit of it. And that finish was a real top striker's finish. He wasn't just taking a chance there. He created that himself and he hadn't had a lot of chances in the game. So for him to score, it would have had to be a moment like that. And it was, and he took it unbelievably well. So you go 1-0 up and you're thinking, can we just keep this clean sheet here? We've not kept a clean sheet on the road yet this season, and we really needed to. And we did get one in the end. We got one at home against Bournemouth, and thankfully we got one on the road as well. And we just played well, kept it going. And, there were times where I thought we'd tired and we just carried on. James Ward-Prowse was subbed off, which I was really surprised about. And we made a couple of changes. Yusuf Chamiti actually came on at one point, which was quite a surprise because you'd think that Beto was ahead of him in the pecking order. But I think Dyche got it right. He brought him on. Chamiti came on, held it up when he needed to, did his job for not that long that he was on, but he did his job. And the team just remained resilient. And this resilience is a key part of the Sean Dyche way that we've been playing under him. I feel the team are becoming much more resilient away from home. They believe in what they're doing now as well. You can tell that with players. When players believe in the methods, then they will stick to it, even in adversity. And I don't really feel like West Ham had a point where they really peppered our goal and Jordan Pickford wasn't massively troubled, which is credit to us. We kept them out. We limited them to chances, really. And I think a lot of that goes the credit to Jared Branthwaite, young defender, next to an absolutely fantastic experienced defender in James Tarkowski. But Jared Branthwaite was the shining light yesterday. And what a performance again. This lad is going to the very, very top. Left-footed, 6'5", calm, assured. We don't even know what foot he is because he's that good on both. He's also got a bit of pace, which is just great, isn't it? And I think we really have a special talent there, and he's helped us get this clean sheet on the road. Now we've got that settled back four. I think you should expect some more clean sheets on the road as well. Vitaly Mykolenko, fantastic again. Yes, we have concerns about him going forward, but no one can doubt the defensive job that he does. James Tarkowski, leader. He gets in there when he needs to. Great tackle on Kudus there. And Nathan Patterson came in and he was steady enough. Of course, there's a lot to improve. He's a young player, but we have to just back him now and give him some game time because he is the right back at the club that's going to be here in 3-4 years. Of course, Ashley Young, 38 years old. Seamus Coleman probably got a couple of years left. So Nathan Patterson is the one that we really want to see improve and really nail his place down in that team. But everyone was just spot on. Amadou Onana, again, he has really come into his own in recent weeks. I think having James Garner next to him has really helped him out. And Amadou Onana now is showing exactly why we paid £33 million for him and why a top club will probably pay a lot more to get him eventually. But let's just enjoy them for now. We don't want them to we don't want to go anywhere just yet. But the whole team were just absolutely on it from start to finish. And I think Sean Dyche deserves a lot of credit because he's been under a lot of criticism in recent weeks. And before this good run of games, people were concerned about whether he could be the man for us. And I think he's proving week by week that he is going to be the man for us. We're now on 4 wins in 6. The Luton game was disappointing, but other than that, on the road, we've been fantastic. And we've now finally got a win at home as well. But looking ahead, 2 home games now next week, Burnley in the Cup and then Brighton. This is where we really nail it down now. So the away form, yes, it's looking great, but can we get those wins at home? Because, away form isn't always a given, really. You need to make sure that you're good at home. And if we can put in a performance against Burnley, just get through in the Cup by hook or by crook, and then do something against Brighton, even a point would do, just to keep this momentum ticking over. But I have to say, I'm really pleased with the team at the moment. I feel like they've done a lot of things right in the past few weeks. And I'm starting to see a team that's progressing, a team that we can believe in, and a team that fights for us as well. It's what we want to see as Blues, isn't it? And I'm pretty happy at the moment. So hopefully it stays that way. But that is all for your extra time on the Toffee Blues today. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. If you disagree with anything I say, do let me know and we'll have a chat about it in the comments. But that's all for now. See you in a bit.